Hi guys, welcome to the next part on how to navigate the Great Reset. Today we're going to be talking about currencies, particularly cryptocurrency, and how to handle that as this Great Reset progresses. If you want the quick summary, we're going to be moving into a whole new digital currency. And if you're currently involved in cryptocurrencies and you're getting a return, my quick advice is don't get greedy. If you want me to expand a little bit further, it would be look at what you're going to need in terms of paying bills and the necessities of life for the next, let's say, 3 years, and that should be your target return on investment. You should have a clear target, and then once you've reached it, once you see a climb and you've hit your target return, pull out. You need to create a clear exit strategy. Well, first of all, right now. So you don't need to necessarily exit right now, but you have to have a clear exit strategy. How are you going to pull out your cryptocurrency and turn it into either hard practical assets or convert it into fiat currency and then into the assets. And if you're wondering why, well, you're going to lose everything if you do diamond hands. You hold on for dear life, you're going to lose everything. If you want to know why, stay tuned. I'm going to go through it. So here in Canada, we've got this newish bill C10, and the state is really, we've had a very generous COVID relief plan. And so in raw dollars, we haven't printed out as much as the U.S., but in terms of per person, I think we've done more in terms of just pumping out cash to people who aren't working. So they are really hungry for tax revenue right now. So they're really focusing on now the internet, the digital aspect of. Thus far, they haven't really taxed these global companies and trying to get them to have more Canadian content, force Canadian messaging or whatever. But that's beside the point. We're talking about money. So, yeah, Netflix tax, and not just big companies, but influencers with larger followings and the whole gig economy. They are hungry and they're looking for revenue. And as of a few years ago, they're taking drastic action. So if they can find a way to say it's been for laundering or any sort of criminal activity, they can just up and seize assets. And of course, in the U.S., they've got they're cracking down. In China, U.S., really trying to crack down on cryptocurrency. Why? Because they're currently not in control of it. Now, I've always known that crypto is going to be used, cryptocurrencies was going to be used as a honeypot. I didn't know what particular technology or strategy they were going to use. I was curious if it was going to be, smart contracts, but it's really going to be NFTs. And I'll get back to that in a moment. But just, I want to tackle a point Tim brought up and just talk about why diamond hands is so foolish at this point in the game. So Tim was talking about, and he's done a number of videos on crypto recently, that if he would have listened in 2011, he would be a billionaire right now. The thing is, being a billionaire won't be meaningful that much longer. Talking about current currency. And that's what crypto is really being compared to, is the US dollar. And how much is it worth in US dollars? So if all you want to be is a billionaire, I say, why stop there? You could be a quadrillionaire for under $7 US shipped. You can get 2 orders of 5 pieces of $100 trillion. So 10 of those, you'd be a quadrillionaire. Woo! But what does it mean? You can't buy anything with that Zimbabwe dollar. It has no practical value. It's a discontinued currency. It only has this historical or humorous value. So let's get back to NFTs. And why I think this is going to be the honeypot where the state finally gets their foot in the door. So first, just to show the extreme media coverage, I'm just going to steal Johnny's intro here.
Now to the latest trend that's sweeping the internet.
So-called NFT.
They're now selling for huge bucks.
$69 million.
So what's behind this latest craze?
That is the question to ask.
Okay, so there's some super strange.
So there's a lot of focus now on NFTs or non-fungible tokens. I've had friends in Discord mention, ooh, now I can treat my artwork or whatever as an NFT. Now, to really understand NFTs, you need to understand crypto, and to understand cryptocurrencies or digital coins. And in order to understand that, you need to understand what how they operate on a ledger. So for that, this is a great video to get yourself up to speed on that. I'm going to put both of these links in the description below. But I'm going to give you an example of how the current banking system on the current currencies work in terms of ledger, and what makes crypto different and what makes NFTs such a concern. Okay, so let's say I've got, well, first, yeah, we'll use numbers. Okay, 111. That's your membership number at your bank or credit union. And we're going to see, negative 400 come out of this account. And then we're going to see account 2222. They're going to have plus 400 in their account. Okay, so the membership number is somewhat obfuscated, but that they'll have that private information handy, the bank or credit union. And what also might be in this private institution's records or ledger might have some sort of record of what this transaction involved. So it might have been $400 for it might just say kite, or I don't know. But there may or may not be on the ledger a record of what the item is, but it's kept privately. So when this ledger is kept privately, they do have the member's name, address, and all kinds of information, and they do have often part of the ledger is some sort of description of the transaction. But this is all kept privately. So when we go into the world of cryptocurrencies, this ledger is now brought into the public, and now everyone has access to this ledger and confirm that these people these members, in essence, made this transaction. Now, you might all already get to see why a government would be so interested in getting their foot in the door here. Because right now, if the state wants access to this information, who made the transaction, what it was for, they'll have to go through this legal process in order to get that information from a private institution. But with cryptocurrency, that's just out. But this information, though, on the public ledger is obfuscated. So that member number isn't directly attached to any individual entity. Now, with enough information that you can cross-reference, you can suss out who that is and suss out what it was for. But it makes the job more difficult, just like having to go through these legal channels to get information from a private institution. So what if I could get part of this unobfuscated? And so here's the dangers of NFTs. So it actually puts the item as part of the ledger. So instead of saying, okay, member 1111, withdrawal 400, okay, and now member 222, let's say the item is, cat meme. Cat meme 15, okay? So now cat meme 15, this token, that represents this digital asset, is now belonging to this member. You've taken part of this ledger entry and you've now unobfuscated it, and now it's much easier to track down who actually made this transaction. And even more so, as we transition to this federal coin, and there's going to be this conversion rate, because just like the Zimbabwe dollar, it's meaningless as an actual currency. The same thing is going to happen with all the cryptocurrencies that are not get the stamp of approval. And so you're going to have this token as well as all your coins, but this token is going to be on a ledger that is not actively used, in a currency that's not actively used. And also, how would you even enforce your claim to this, especially in a depreciated ledger or currency? You need an enforcement entity, and of course that's where the government comes in. So either the government, the state, is now going to have, it's just in part of this whole conversion process, they will now just completely own any NFT that was ever made, or they'll give a small amount in the whole conversion process for these NFTs. So you're going to have a huge consolidation of digital wealth in that regard. And now, as a, not so much of an aside, there's going to be some cryptocurrencies that will have a fair conversion rate into this new, we'll just go with the working term, FedCoin, which is most likely to be used globally. So for this new FedCoin, that is going to be completely unobfuscated for their side, because it's going to be a hybrid system. So it's going to be private. There might be public aspects to it, but ultimately they're going to now have access to who the members or IDs are, as well as the whole transaction. And so whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, or whatnot, there's only going to be certain ones that will have a fair conversion rate into the new FedCoin. And even if I knew which ones it was going to be, I still wouldn't tell you, because as soon as that information got out and you had all the rabble putting their money into the winner of the cryptocurrency lottery or war, whatever. As soon as that happened, all the inner circle would just exit that one and go into another coin, because the point isn't to lift you up. The point is to destroy the rabble, not to empower them. And so trying to chase which one that's going to be in the long term is going to be, and when I say long term, it's really any point past this fall. So really you need to have the exit strategy in place right now. How are you going to exit out of your crypto investments before the whole economic collapse happens, so that you can get it into either straight into the assets or more likely into the current fiat currency that you're using before it completely becomes depreciated, and then convert that again into practical, hard, tangible assets. And NFTs are not tangible and they're not practical. And cryptocurrencies are currently somewhat practical. Their use is limited, but in terms of tangible, they're not. So it's time to, if you haven't started yet investing in crypto, I'd say now's a bad time to start unless you really know what you're doing. But everyone else, it's really time to plan your exit, and before you lose everything. Because the conversion rate is either going to be nothing or pittance for most of these current cryptocurrencies going into the new Fed coin. So that's how to navigate it with these cryptocurrencies moving forward. And I will catch you guys in the next one.